Hey, good afternoon, Auburn. Good afternoon, Auburn. Welcome to day 2 of Week of Prayer. How many of you were blessed yesterday? Amen to that. I was so inspired by our speakers, by our praise team, and I'm excited for what God has in store today. Just a quick announcement about actually Student Week of Prayer. As students share some of their stories and some of the things they've gone through, it may trigger for you memories. Maybe it might trigger a similar situation you were in, and it might bring up some emotions, and those emotions may feel overwhelming. And so I want to remind you of your support network here at Auburn Adventist Academy, which consists of, do you have a question? I want to remind you of your support network. If you do need somebody to talk to, if things feel overwhelming or something is triggered. So you have 2 pastors here on campus, myself and Pastor Chrislin. We're here to serve you. We're here to listen, to talk with you, to pray with you. We have our wonderful Miss LD in the back. Look at her waving. She is here as well to give you resources and talk to you about mental health. But today I want to introduce you to our latest addition to your support network. Jessica, Libby, would you come join me real quick? Jessica, would you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, my name is Jessica Libby, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. And I just started, hanging out here, and actually I've already started seeing some people, but and I'm hanging out in the Wise building.
So what do you do for us here on campus?
Yeah, I provide therapeutic support, which is a little bit different than what LD does, but I like me and LD are pretty tight. And so when, if something comes up, if you just want to talk about something, process something, and it's a little bit more, like you want ongoing support, then I'm totally here. And that's what I'll do. I see students like for maybe half hour, 45 minutes on a weekly basis. Sometimes it'll be every other week or something like that, but it's a little bit more structured time. And then too, I wanted to add that I'll probably be talking to your parents about like starting services, not necessarily what we talk about because there's confidentiality, but and just bringing your parents involved in that process as well, just so you guys are aware of that.
And how often are you on campus?
I am currently on campus 1 day a week only, just for now. I'm hoping to make that 2 days a week, but it probably won't start until next year. That's on Tuesday, so today.
If I'm a student and I want to begin counseling, how do I organize that with you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the first process will probably be easiest for you guys if you just reach out to LD and say, hey, I want to get connected with Jessica, and then she does like a referral form, but you can also talk to teachers or other people that can do a referral form as well. And then I receive that, and then I reach out to you by email, or if there's the cell phone number in there, I'll reach out to you as well.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you for what you do. It's so, so important, and it's so needed. Can we give her a hand?
Yeah, thanks.
So just want to remind you of the resources available. A couple of quick announcements. I heard that it was somebody's birthday today by the name of John A. Can we sing real quick? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John A. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, John A. We love you. A few more quick announcements. Prayer group happening tomorrow morning in the room right next to my office, being led out by Mina and Kelsey. It's our student-led prayer group that's been meeting for a couple of weeks now. That's going to be at 7:40 tomorrow morning, and that's every Wednesday at 7:40. So come if you want to just gather and pray with other students. I want to remind you this Friday for Vespers is going to be our open mic. And so we're still looking for singer-songwriters, poets, dancers, whatever it is that you want to share with us for this open mic. A couple of you have said, hey, we want to sing a song. I still need you, I'm forgetting who that was, but I still need you to send me an email with the song or a brief outline of what you're sharing. If you are interested in sharing something at the open mic this Friday, just email me at eddie.durisme@auburn.org with a brief outline of what you want to do. Maybe it's the poem or a song or whatever routine you want to do. Just reach out to me on there. That's going to be this Friday. Also want to remind you, you may have seen the posters. Campus Ministries is hiring for next year's leadership team. So remember, the deadline for that is April 24. If you're currently on the team, remember, you still have to reapply as well for next year. So next, let's move on to our quiz from yesterday. We're going to start with the freshmen today. Tomorrow we'll hit up the sophomores, then juniors and seniors. So is there a brave sophomore that wants to take the quiz for a chance? I mean, freshman. Did I say sophomore? Freshman. I was looking at the freshman and saying sophomore. Is there a brave freshman that wants to come take the quiz? Or we got Miguel. He wasted no time. Hey, if he doesn't get it, then you'll get a chance. It's about yesterday's. It's going to be something from one of the sermons from yesterday. So first question, and please don't yell out the answer, okay? First question. Kelsey mentioned the name of 2 pet chickens. What were their names? I literally just asked not to say the answers out loud.
Pollo and Nugget.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Evie, would you like to take a go at this? Kelsey mentioned the name of 2 pet chickens. Do you remember their names?
Cinnamon and Fluffy Cheeks.
That is correct. Cinnamon and Fluffy Cheeks. I have an Amazon gift card or a Bigfoot Java gift card. Which would you like? Amazon. Let's do one more. I'm going to have a different question for you. One more freshman. You go ahead, Leah. All right. There was a key phrase that Anne wanted us to remember from her sermon. Do you remember what that key word or phrase was?
Have courage.
Have courage. Let's give her a hand. There you go. Thank you, freshmen, for participating. Tomorrow, it will be the sophomores' turn, so pay attention to what is being said today if you want a chance to win. Would you bow your heads with me as we pray? Hey, God, thank you so much for this day and the opportunity we have to worship you. May we leave our worries and our stress behind now. In your name, amen.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon, guys. Our first song we're singing is 10,000 Reasons.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship Your
I have the pleasure of introducing today's first speaker. This person has meant a lot to me in my life. You know, growing up, I always got in trouble, so he was always there to get me out of trouble, and he always had my back no matter what. And you know, I've watched God bless him throughout these years, and I watched him grow as a person, and I'm just thankful to have him as a brother. He's truly the best brother in the world. And I would just like to introduce the speaker, my brother, Jon Russell. I'm gonna pray over him really quick.
Is it good now? Ah, great. You guys look lovely today. Anyways, how y'all doing? Y'all sound dead. How y'all doing? There we go. Anyways, I got 2 questions for you guys. Okay, the first question is, how many of you guys dislike change? Like any type of change at all? I mean, like y'all plan to go to a party or something, and then boom, it gets canceled because someone crashed in the road. Any hands? Y'all are dead today, come on. All right, so, you know what, we'll forget the other question. You guys are just, anyways, so I'm gonna be talking about changes and how, you know, that affected me. So I'm gonna just give y'all a little life story about, you know, when I was a little kid to 18 years old now. So, next slide. Next slide. Oh, there you go. All right. So, as you see, there's my father. He was looking pretty young back then. There's also me as a baby. I wasn't ready for the picture, as you could see, but you know, it worked out. So yeah, as a baby, I didn't really have anything to worry about for change. It was, you know, just eat, cry, sleep, put your diaper, and watch TV pretty much the whole time. So yeah, during that, I definitely enjoyed those times, even though I don't remember it. And I mean, I didn't have to change anything. I was already planning my life to, you know, stay that young forever and not really have to do anything. But God had different plans for me. And at this time, this is when I was living in Florida. So it was a pretty nice state, and I wasn't complaining. And apparently, one time I was running around in diapers with no shirt on, screaming gibberish. And my mom got mad at me because I kicked over the toaster or something like that. But yeah, so there I literally had no worries. I was perfectly fine. And, you know, I didn't plan on moving, so that was a plus. And then, next slide. All right, so, I don't know how to explain this one, but my dad said no to hair, so I had to go bald, unfortunately. I mean, I didn't mind going bald, but yeah, you guys can see the teeth, the hair. I tried to look nice for picture day, but that clearly didn't work. But yeah, so at this time, I think this is like 3rd grade. It wasn't too bad. I moved to West Virginia at that time. So at that point, I wasn't really enjoying it as much because all these changes were happening. You know, I was growing up. I had to make new friends. I don't know, the kids there, they weren't as friendly, so I didn't really have a good time there, just enjoying myself. Especially when, you know, when you get a fresh haircut like that, people want to touch your head and like see how spiky your head feels. So that wasn't really the best part, but I mean, overall, it was an interesting change to happen. Yeah, we can move on now. That was a bad time. But yeah, so next slide. All right, so this is definitely a place I enjoyed. So this is when I moved to Ohio at that time, and I was loving it. You know, I went to a Christian school. The first day there, fourth grade, I thought school started at 8 o'clock or like 8:30. So I arrived at 8:30, and school started at like 7:15 or something like that. And that picture was before, but I was bald still. So it's kind of interesting, you know, walking into a room, and it's like you got a whole bunch of kids looking right back at you, bald, and it's like, all right, who's this new kid, right? So there was that, but then after that, you know, I started making more friends there. They were pretty fun to hang out with. And I remember there was this one day they told me, okay, you guys need to dress up for PE. So I literally took it as in dress up for the whole day in PE. So I just brought PE clothes, and I wore them from the morning to the afternoon. And they finally told me, you don't actually wear your PE clothes the whole day. You kind of just put them on during PE. So yeah, that was an interesting fourth grade experience. And then this picture was, I think, sixth grade, which was a long time ago. But as you see, I'm getting my teeth checked. And then later on, I didn't know I would have braces, which wasn't a fun thing because they didn't give me any wax at first, so my gums were really like sore. But yeah, so the change here that happened was moving from West Virginia to Ohio, and this change I actually enjoyed because, you know, making friends was fun, playing around was fun, messing with teachers and kids was also pretty fun, and I mean, I was just living my best life, to be honest. I definitely miss that place, and as well because I actually was able to have a pet. Her name was Bella, which is on the next slide. Yeah, so she was a German Shepherd Labrador mix. I was her favorite family member because every other person she bit, just out of pure hate, to be honest. I don't really see how she loved any of them. But yeah, so she was pretty nice to me, except for she bit me too, but that's because I was trying to help her out and she didn't need help, so she just bit me anyways. And then that soccer ball you guys see was my favorite soccer ball. But yeah, I kicked it at a wall one day and she chased it down a hill and it came back like that. So that made me kind of sad. And then every basketball I got as well, she would chase down and chew it. So she thought every moving object was something chewable, which I didn't really like because that cost a lot of money to buy new basketballs every week. But yeah, she was definitely one of my best friends at the time. You know, just me and her would be, you know, outside. I'd be either on a rope swinging around, watching her try to bite my ankles, or I don't know, just something like giving her treats or just spending time with her pretty much. So that changed. I moved back to West Virginia, and it was like a nice 25-acre house, I think. And then, yeah, that dog definitely was special to me. But unfortunately, we moved back to Ohio, and when we moved back to Ohio was the point when we had to get rid of the dog, which was sad, because you know, you build a bond with a dog, especially when you get them as a baby, or a puppy actually. So there was that change, and that change I gave up on all hope at that point. But yeah, that was a overall interesting time there. And then from there, I moved back to Ohio, and I would show you guys a picture of that, but I'm gonna not let you guys see what that looked like, because I'm sure y'all know what a box cut is. Like you get a haircut and there's no hair on the sides. You just got a box on top of your head, you know? So that's what 8th grade looked like, and I'm not gonna lie to you, that was definitely not the move. But no one told me, and they all were like, oh, you look so good, this and that, yeah. Sometimes you just can't trust people when it comes to haircuts. But yeah, that was 8th grade. I moved to a new school then, and that school was okay. We had to wear a uniform, which I did not like, because you had to tie your own tie, and I could not tie ties. So there was that, and then, yeah, that was the end of that school. I was done with that school overall. So then I got the news that we're moving to Washington. Yay. I had no idea what Washington involved, but it looked pretty sunny at the time. So I was like, okay, maybe it's like California, you know? I was blown away by all the rain here. Yeah, so we moved all the way here. It took like 4 to 5 days moving here. I definitely did not like that trip. But yeah, we got here and everything was a whole different change. Everything over here is more expensive. Housing situation's different. You can't have pets where you were living at first. There's all these new changes I hated. I didn't like them at all. So when that happened, I was just done, to be honest. I did not want to be here. I wanted to go right back to Ohio or West Virginia, where I actually had friends. And, you know, at the time, I was just done. But I didn't know that I wasn't living by God's plan. I was living by my plan, which is never something you want to do. So when we moved here, the first day of school, actually, my freshman year, I was so, like, nervous. I woke up at 5, and I remember driving here with my mom at 5 because I didn't want to be late or anything. I had no idea what time school started. So when we got here, she was like, okay, you need to eat, honey. And I was like, I can't eat, I'm gonna throw up, right? And then she was like, I don't care, you need to eat. So I was like, okay. So I took one bite and I was like, I can't do this. I'm going back home. And then she said, no. So yeah, I went to school and then I didn't know anybody. So I just walked up and down the hallways the entire time looking at all the old pictures of people, which I can imagine looking back at it now looked really kind of like dumb. My bad, y'all, like dumb, just like walking back and forth. But yeah, after that, I was silent. I didn't have any friends for like 2 weeks at all. And then there was a couple people that walked in and were like, oh, hey, what's your name? You know, like casually being nice. And I was like, yeah, my name's this and that. And I was like, oh, yeah, what's your name? And then, you know, conversations. So after that freshman year, everything got better because, you know, I started making more friends. There was no COVID, no nothing like that. You just lived your life. And then COVID hit, and COVID was, we all know how COVID went. Right, guys? Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, COVID wasn't it, as you guys could tell. So then there's junior year, and junior year is pretty fun. You know, some of the friends leave, some of them graduate, you know, just normal life activities going on. And after that happens, now we're here, senior year. I have all you guys as friends. I consider you guys as friends and family. And looking back at it, I realized moving here was probably God's plan and not mine. God's plan will always be better than what we plan or what we expect. And the changes in our life that we think that we need or that we need to go through with is not what God thinks. God always has a different plan for us, and no matter what, He's always going to be there with us during the changes. Next slide. Yeah, so that was after soccer, you know, Be Real. This is a pretty nice app. I don't know, those, I call them family. And I don't know, looking back at that picture now, it made me realize that I never would have met any of you guys if it wasn't for God. And, stop. But yeah, I never would have met you guys if God hadn't directed me here. And I'm glad I stayed all 4 years because I've definitely felt closer with God than any other time. I'm gonna just fill you guys in on a little brief thing. So I never used to like do devotions or anything or like read my Bible or anything, right? And you know, moving here after freshman year, I started realizing that I need to get closer to God. So I took all those changes and I embraced them instead of rejecting them. And God showed me that instead of denying the changes and embracing your changes, you get to live a better life. And I mean, just look how happy you are in that picture. Look at them. Zabdiel, Sam, Bobby, Jesse, me. Yeah, we're all pretty happy. But you have to realize God works in mysterious ways. And I learned that the hard way, unfortunately, because I wasn't willing to accept the changes that happened in my life. So, with that being said, next slide. These were some of the ways that I tried overcoming like the changes and trying to embrace the changes. As you see, praying, talking to someone, exercise, listening to music, and remembering who you are. The first one and the last one go hand in hand, because God only creates one of you. He doesn't create another person unless it's your twin or something. But you're still one of one, right? And no one else can copy you or be you. So you gotta like think about that and what's in front of you, and not just, oh, I really miss this place and I miss what happened and I wish I could reverse everything that happened. God has a reason, and you just have to follow his reason and trust him. And also, next slide, I also have some verses that kind of helped me get through that as well. Philippians 4:6 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. And Isaiah 41:10 says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And with that being said, thank you.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kobe, and I'll be introducing the next speaker for today. So I've known this person for about 4 to 5 years now, ever since 8th grade, and he's just been someone who's impacted my life in many different ways. He's helped me get through my highs and lows through life, and just been there for me no matter what. He has a unique personality that many don't have. He's hardworking, driven, never gives up, and he's been like a brother to me. So, and but most importantly, he never gives up on God, and his spiritual relationship just grows every single day. So I hope his story inspires you, and that you all can take note on something. So can we please welcome Jon Russell?
Hey. All right, guys, how are you guys doing? That's good. All right, so can I please get the first slide? My topic today is don't let anyone define who you are. This is a really big thing for my life because through my life I've been through a lot of hardships, mostly caused by myself, but I let people tell me who I am, and it led me down the wrong path. So up here you see me and Brandon, right? And then you see me as a little kid, you know. I was a cute little kid. I like to think so, right? But this is just me. And I was a very spontaneous type of child. You know, I was always up, around, you know. I was always having fun. I never stopped. Outside, inside, annoying my parents, annoying my brother, everything. I was so active as a kid. I remember one time in preschool that I was such a bad kid. I just never stopped that our high school was connected to like the elementary school. So my teacher, right, I'm in preschool, keep in mind, my teacher, she takes me, and she puts me in the high school class. So now I'm sitting in here like, no, and I was scared, right? But that was on me, that was one of my decisions. Next slide, please. So yeah, these are a few more baby pictures, right? While we're still living in career, all of that, right? And I went to a couple different schools, right, up until 3rd grade. Now, 3rd grade is when we moved to a school called WCCS, Wood County Christian School, right? And I remember the first day of school, we walked in late, and my brother's class was upstairs and mine was downstairs. So my dad took him there, and then he took me into my class, and I walked in, and I'm like, uh-oh, right? Everybody looks at me, and I'm just like, oh, no, this is going to be bad. I was so nervous because I just didn't know, what to do. So I go and I pick my seat, and I start talking to people, right? And just from there, it clicks. I make new friends, and everything's going good. But then I have this one friend, and his name is Connor. Now, me and Connor, we were some devious kids. Keep in mind, this is 3rd grade, but it was bad, right? So they had this tally system, right? So you got good tallies and you got bad tallies. The worst tally was the red tally. Keep in mind. So me and him had a whole competition of who can get the most red tallies, right? So at the end of the year, he ended up winning by 1. He got 9 red tallies and I got 8 red tallies, but that kind of sums up how I was as a kid at that young of an age. I was just gunning. I was gunning to win. Everything was a competition. I was annoying. I was just everything. I was so spontaneous. I didn't know how to control it. So I realized, I didn't realize that this was anything bad. I thought this was just normal class clown behavior, right? So then I go to 4th grade, and the 4th grade has a stricter teacher, so I'm like, okay, let me chill out a little bit. I remember one time we had this thing on Friday called extra recesses. And basically, it's like you have recess all through the week, but then on Friday, after lunch and after all classes, you get to go extra recess. You could only go to extra recess if you had good tallies. And I was right perfectly. I had the amount of good tallies and I have the amount of bad tallies, right? She calls my name, and I jump up. I yell, yes, yes, right? Because my voice is high-pitched. And I'm going, and I put my tally, right? And then she says, Jonathan, go put in a negative tally. And I was like, no! Because I literally worked so hard. I was quiet the whole week. I did everything I could to get extra recess, and I missed it by 1 tally. Now, extra recess was 30 minutes, so 15 minutes into extra recess, right, halfway through, she comes and talks to me and is like, you can't act like that. You need to learn how to control yourself even when you get excited. So I was like, okay, she let me go out, right? So then comes 5th grade, and 5th grade is where it gets real. Next slide, please. So this is me in 5th grade and 6th grade, right? The picture on the right is me in 5th grade, left is 6th grade, but this basically sum up what kind of kid I was. I just didn't care, right? I used to annoy my teacher. She used to kick me out of the class. She used to make me stand in the hallway. I remember all the older 7th grade, 8th grade students, they would walk through the hallway, and they just knew I was going to be there. They expected me to be there, right? And I really just embraced that. I embraced that I was the bad kid of the class. I embraced I was the class clown. I had to make people laugh, and my goal was to get kicked out of class, right? I didn't realize at the time what I was doing to myself. I was creating such a negative spotlight of myself and my family at the school, but I never noticed, right? Because this is how a typical day would go. I wake up, go to class, cause trouble, get kicked out, head home, and get disciplined. And I would tell my parents, no, I'm sorry, I won't do it ever again. The next day I would go do it again, right? That's just who I was. I would never really learn from my actions, right? And then that really amplified in my 6th grade year. In my 6th grade year, we had a teacher named Mr. Poling, and he was straight by the book, right? He would eat his salads, his shirt was tucked in, and he was all goody-goody two-shoes, right? Me and my friends hated that. So it was our goal, right, to just get him out, to get him out. We ended up succeeding. We made him quit after the year was done. But, we just kept getting in trouble every single day. Trouble, right? But then one thing I didn't realize was my 6th grade year, right, they took out the tally system and they put in demerits. Now, demerits was for the 7th grade and up, right, for those grades. But demerits were serious. You could get suspended, you could get expelled, you could have to go to school on the weekend. But I really wouldn't care because I remember I got the first detention for a 6th grader in school history. So you know me, I'm walking, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to detention, right? Thinking it's all cool and fun, right? But it really wasn't because my demerits were adding up. So I remember this one day, right, I'm on the verge of getting suspended. But you think I cared? No. So I remember one day, right, after recess, right, we change our shoes, we go out and we go play, and we're in the gym. Me and my friends were playing a game of tag called Cheese Touch, right? And we're playing, and we run through the locker room. Now, it's not allowed, but we did not care, right? We run through, and everybody's running out. I'm running out with them, and the person in charge of the recess stops me alone, and she tells me to get on the wall. Now, getting on the wall was the form of punishment. If you were bad or you misbehaved in class, instead of tallies, they would tell you to get on the wall for 5 minutes at a time. So now I'm on the wall, and I'm mad, right? I didn't do anything. Why didn't you get them in trouble too? But then I realized that wasn't the way to go. I chose to use 2 bad words, not curse words, but not appropriate words either, right? And I scream at the top of my lungs. Then I go back into recess, have fun, right? And later that day, I'm called into the office by our principal, Mr. Van Norman. And he's like, 2 students reported that you used some vulgar language. And I had the decision to make whether I could lie or I could tell the truth. I could have lied and said, nah, that wasn't me. They got the wrong man, right? But I decided to tell the truth, and I was like, yes, I did say the bad words. And I ended up getting 25 demerits, which pushed me over the limit, and I was about to be suspended. So I remember a Friday in April, when I was in 6th grade, my parents, after school, right, they never came to the school, but not both of them at the same time. And I remember they come, and they're in this meeting, and I'm getting ready for track. And I get called in, and they explain to me the situation, and they tell me they're going to take me out of the school. Now, this broke my world, right? Because I questioned myself. If I'm the bad kid, if I'm supposed to make everybody laugh, and I'm helping everybody out with their day by making them laugh, why am I getting in trouble, you know? And I get taken out of the school, and I remember just bawling my eyes out for hours straight. And I remember my best friend, Brendan, I had to call him over, and I hugged him. I said, I'm going to be gone, and he started crying too. Just keep in mind, we're 6th grade. We have, like, all the emotions in the world. So then, after that, I get taken out, and I'm homeschooled. I hate it. So the next year, my mom and my dad put me in this school called Veritas Classical Academy, right? And you can go to the next slide. Now, this, on the picture on the left, this is me. That was our uniform, the tie, the shirt, and all that, right? So that was me getting my braces, but that's besides the point. At that school, I was not a good kid either. I just could not learn my lesson. This was who I thought I was. I thought I was the bad kid who always had to get people in trouble, always had to get in trouble, right? So I remember one recess, this little kid gets pushed over. The kid is like this tall, and I'm like this tall, and like I just start yelling. And I started yelling. I didn't do this. I don't know why you guys keep accusing me and all this. I keep yelling. And I remember I just said, I'm going to leave because they told me to sit in the gym. And I said, no, I'm not going to sit there and be embarrassed. I'm going to go to my classroom and get some work done. So I do that. Then I get called into the office saying, you're suspended. Call your mom. You're going home. I'm like, what did I do? Sure, I yelled, but like I took myself out of the situation, right? So I wouldn't go any farther, but I got suspended. So after that, my mom had to come sit with me in classes the next day. Later, close to the end of the year, I remember we had PE before our last period of the class, or school, right? And they said no PE today, and I was like, man, I have all this energy. I wanted to go to PE. So, man, this girl was doing her math, and I was just like, watching her do math, because it was like crazy math. Like, she was crazy smart. And like, I remember, she didn't want me to watch it, so I went back to my desk. And she was talking smack about me. I was like, So I said these 4 words: go suck a pickle. That's all I said. And I did not use any derogative terms. That's literally what I said. I said, go suck a pickle. And you know what I did? I got called into the office. Jonathan, and this was a women principal, so it was like, Jonathan, this is the last straw. You're gone. You're done. Get out of here. I don't want you back in my school. I'm like, what did I do? Right? I didn't even say anything that bad. This is kid talk, right? But they had it with me. I was done. So I get kicked out of the school, and now I'm like, right? And I'm like, what do I do, right? So now I'm homeschooled again, and I hate it, right? And this is, right, where we moved, right? Now we moved to 8th grade, and I remember my parents, when we got here, my parents told me, if we get one call from the principal, you're done. And this really sunk into me because I was tired of picking up and moving schools and changing friends and all that. This really sunk in my head, and I just could not get in trouble. I did get called into the principal's office in 8th grade, but my parents were never called, so thankfully I got saved, right? So the picture in the middle, that's me in 8th grade, closer right before COVID, because I remember, because I cut all my hair off, right? So you can go to the next slide. So after 8th grade, right, COVID hits and all that, and COVID hits and all that. Freshman year comes, right? Freshman year, I'm devious still. But I'm not getting as much trouble, right? I'm really starting to find who I am as a person, right? And you can see I'm just a goofy kid, just having fun, right? And I remember, I remember Pastor K leaving, and that really touched my heart. And I remember talking to him after, and, he just told me that I was a natural-born leader. And I've heard a lot of people tell me that over the years, but it really sunk in with him. And when I heard that, I realized I have to find who I am, right? So I took that summer, and I found out who I was, right? I didn't let anybody define me, and I found out who I was, and it became better, and it led me to where I am today. Next slide, please. Today, this is me, having fun. That's top left is me and my boys, Brandon, Zach, Bobby, and Kobe. And then you got me and Kobe on the right, no homo. You got, me and my basketball team, right? After we clinched the game to go to state, we were so excited. This season was beautiful. And then you got the middle is me and the soccer team after we went to state, right? And even though we lost, you can see how happy we were. But me finding myself through God really led me to where I am today. Because if I did not let God, if I did not find myself through God, I guarantee you I'd probably be in juvie, I would not be in school, and I would probably be having to look for a job right now. So I leave you with this. Do not let anybody define who you are. You must define yourself. Thank you.
The last song we're going to sing is The Goodness of God. Please stand.
will sing of the goodness of God.
Let's bow our head for prayer. Dear Father in heaven, Lord, I want to thank you for allowing us all to be able to come here, Lord, for Student Week of Prayer. Lord, I just thank you for allowing my brother and I to be able to speak to the students, Lord, and I just pray that you will help our message to have touched somebody, Lord. I pray and I thank you for everybody here, Lord. I pray that you will put a blessing over everybody here, Lord. I just thank you, Lord, for the messages from Ann and Kelsey yesterday, and I just pray that you'll bless the messages that are coming, Lord. And I just pray that you'll help us all to go get through this week strong, Lord. And I just pray that you'll bless us today. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. You are dismissed.